Okay, this is a video for this is like a pre-review video. I have to do this because this is like emergency level status. These are so good that people who are browsing the internet right now are in the range of approximately $700. They've set 1,000 for the limit. They're not going to go over that. Ideally, they could get something for around $600-700 and maybe save the other 300 for a custom cable because they want to get a 4.4 or some kind of termination. There are a lot of scenarios going on right now as we speak, and for the people that are wanting info right now on the Bravado, and there's not a lot out there actually. Let me go ahead and slide that down. This is a DSD of Hotel California, the album. It's a Japanese pressing. It's very good quality. DSDs, like some people say, seem to put a little bit of emphasis in the treble. I wouldn't argue with that. It's certainly not in the bass, but it does sound like there's more detail. Anyway, so this is Hotel California. This is the Empire Ears Bravado. Listening to a track like this that's got male vocals and guitar, it's mastered reasonably well. Sounds fantastic. There is a slight bass emphasis on the Bravado. It's very similar to the Legend X in its tuning. The difference between a lot of companies and some of the higher end companies are that they actually tune these IMs using people. They tune it and the people listen to it and they tune it. Whereas other companies, smaller companies that sell cheaper gear, they might measure frequency on gear and then try to go for a good curve. Which is not the same thing as having a person listen to it and tune it. Empire Ears obviously has people that tune gear, that listen to their gear and give opinions and feedback, and then they modify their sound based on what people are saying. I'm sure that they use graphs as well, but this is very, very obvious that the Empire team, of which I believe there are 22 people, as far as staff goes, and so they're a small company. They have people that are tuning these, and whoever is the people that are tuning this seems to have the same ear that I do. I find the sound of this to be very, very appealing. It's got a good bass, the mids are fantastic, and the treble is very, very detailed. Give you an example. Something where you couldn't hide. This is a combo album with Don McLean and Jim Croce, and one of my favorite songs on this would be "Time in a Bottle." Dun, 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 dun. It's a very, very simple guitar guy on a mic stool, like a Neil Young type of thing. It's very, very clear. There's not a lot going on. It's not difficult for your brain to keep up with what is happening in the track because there's a singer. There's a guitar by the singer, and then there is maybe a triangle and a couple other background instruments that are very subtle and are coming in like tempo pieces. Ting, ting. They're very rhythmic, and they're not like a distortion guitar or something that might kind of pull you in and you kind of get lost in the whole thing. This is a very simple track. It's very good for listening to clarity of those ting and the triangle strikes, and also the sound of the voice is very forward, like the FH5s. I found that this was a track that would really, he's right in front of you. And on the Bravado, it's a little more normal, yet very detailed. I'm actually quite shocked by this set. The Legend X is $2,300, and these are about $700 if I'm not mistaken. The difference between the two is not as much as you would imagine. And I think people that have been in this hobby for a while kind of already know about the diminishing returns. The Legend X is an exceptional IM. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it a lot, and I highly recommend it if money is not the biggest concern in your life. I think that getting that set would probably be a wise idea. If you don't have that kind of money to invest in a hobby, your wife's going to kill you, you got kids to put through college, you just can't do that. An analog to the Legend X sound, which is a good bass, but mids are coming through clear. This has a crossover system, and I think it's giving great benefit at this point, where the mids and the treble are coming in seemingly from separate drivers. However, I believe the mids and treble are being taken care of by one BA. I would never guessed that based on the sound, because it's quite good. Let me go back into albums. So that's a male voice. It exists mostly in the mids. There are elements of the track that are up in the treble, and they all sound really, really good. Let's go into Michael Jackson. Billie Jean. Dun 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 dun. There's a lot of subtle little things going on this track. A lot, actually. And it all comes through crystal clear on the Bravado. This is an item that is punching way above its listed price. And you think, $700, bro, that's a lot of money. There's people out there that are going to say, this is my limit. I don't want to spend more than that. I want something that I can, get out of the hobby. I don't want to talk to people in the forums. I don't want to watch videos for the rest of my life. I don't want to feel like I'm chasing my tail. What has good bass? What has good mids? What has good treble? What is designed well? With a company that will talk to me if I send them, complaint, request, simple, basic, normal people stuff. Not junkie, addict, chasing your tail stuff, like a person with a gambling addiction, like a lot of people in this hobby. Regular, normal Joes and Janes that just want something good. I would wreck this. This track is one of the better mixed ones in the industry. It was done at a time by people in a way that just was just very, very impressive. Quincy Jones, the other people that were involved with this, I don't know what he did later in his life, but this might have been one of the better jobs that man ever did. And I'm not familiar if he was involved with some of the Marvin Gaye stuff. I think he might have been, and some of that was really good, but I know for sure Quincy Jones was involved with this, and I would consider this to be maybe apex of his career. Really, really good. And the guy that did a lot of the producing had synesthesia, I think it's called, where colors and sound are... Your mind translates sounds into colors. You visualize colors when you listen to sound. It's a condition, and it has a name. And I think it's synesthesia, like synthesis, synesthesia, whatever. Someone will comment on that. The guy that was involved with this, as I've repeated before, had that condition, and he visualized treble as being gold and silvers. The gold and silvers on this are very shiny and sparkly. I'm a person that really needs sparkle, and that's hard to get because the difference between sparkle and bite and sharpness and fatigue is, I guess, different to the person, and in the frequency chart, it's very close. I think that sibilance is something that's usually really close to 8 kilohertz. A little bit beyond that and you're okay. A little bit before that and you're okay. It might be different for different people because of the human error. People are different. Generally speaking, I would think that maybe 8 kilohertz would be the magic number for people getting that just not comfortable sound. This would seem to be not peaking there because I'm not getting fatigued. This is actually something that would be probably tuned for long-term listening. So for the treble, listening to Billie Jean, it also has a very rhythmic bass line. Dun 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 dun. I got away from Michael Jackson because he turned kind of into a freak. Mental problems, drugs, all kinds of stuff. I just wasn't into it. I'm totally into hip hop at the time. Going back and listening to this album and this track brings back memories of my youth, and it is such a fantastic. This was when MTV actually had music videos, and it was a music television, and then it became something totally different. And I don't even know if MTV is still alive, but I remember this was big at that time, and I kind of was allergic to the whole hype of Michael Jackson, so I went away from it. But I remember it being in the background, like a soundtrack of my life, at that period of my life, and going back now and remembering that part of my life through the music, and then listening closely to the music. This really was done brilliantly, and it comes through loud and clear on this set, the Empire Ears Bravado. Let me go into one more track. Pink Floyd, On the Run. This is a track that has a lot of left and right panning. This was done at Abbey Road Studio. It was the original quad remix. Quad mix was done by Alan Parsons of the Alan Parsons Project. I don't believe that that's the one that actually got pressed, the UK Harvest, the original pressing. But it was done. The quad remix that was later released was Parsons' version. They used a lot of left-right panning. Now, somebody just did a video and was kind of mocking me, but I don't even feel bad about it. Reviewers have their different styles. That's cool. He said that Chesky is what he uses. I get it. Chesky has very good left-right panning cues that you can kind of follow as it goes behind your head. It's a psychoacoustic trick. It's not really back here because the IEMs are over here in your ears, but it sounds like it's going behind your head. The Chesky tracks will show that. A music version of that would be On the Run, where this track is got what is like rocket ships that are coming out from the far left and traveling, and then the far right and traveling, and they're coming kind of behind your head, and at certain points they're crossing, and there's a couple moments where there are two things that are moving in from one direction to the other. So for panning left and right, On the Run is a fantastic track. This, for a device, a set of IMs that has a clearly prominent bass, will usually affect on stage, which will affect that sense of width that a track like On the Run will give you. Not getting that at all. That's got to be down to their synthex. Synth is becoming a word. Maybe I'm using it too much. The name of their crossover system that they're using, I believe, is SynthX. So, synesthesia, SynthX, synth, is putting out in spades info, sense of detail. The stage is not condensed or compact in any way like the FH5 is because of the bump at 2K. This is giving me a very wide presentation. It's giving me a good stout bass, and it's giving me all of the info that I expect is going to be in the mids. That some of those things I actually got by listening to the Legend X and listening to Wish You Were Here, and hearing a few things that I'd not really ever recalled hearing. And I also hear it on these. So you're 12 minutes in. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I'm going to do a full review of these. But if you're thinking, are these really that good? And there's people that really want to pull triggers. They love to buy something. I give my highest recommendation before the full review that for $700, this is the best your money's going to get you. The dog behind me is barking. Perfect timing. I'm going to get out of here before that thing gets on my nerves. I love dogs. I love them, but I'm going to get out. By the way, it's about 98 degrees right now in Japan, and that thing's outside. It should be in the house. It's way too damn hot to have dogs outside. The Empire Ears Bravado are absolutely fantastic. I can't say that enough. If you're wondering and you were on the fence, get off the fence, spend the money. How often do I say in the videos, spend your money? This is one of the times where I'll say spend your money. These are awesome. That dog needs to get out of the sun. Seriously, if you're an animal lover, you don't tie your dog out in 98-degree weather on concrete. Those people shouldn't even have a dog. I'll talk about that another time. So I'm not even angry at him. I feel sorry for him. He must be boiling out there. It's really hot in Japan right now. Empire Ears Bravado. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Highly recommend it. If you can't afford that Legend X, but you like the way it was described, this is pretty much its younger brother. And obviously Empire Ears uses people, human beings, to tune their gear. The guy that tuned the Legend X sounds like the same guy that tuned the Bravados, because the way it's tuned is so very, very similar. And that's it for now. Full review will be coming after the SE100 full review.